Good morning. Good noon. You are watching DeProgram with Ted Rall and Jamarl Thomas. It's Monday, June 22nd, 2026. You're watching the Q&A show, which means that it is either Monday or Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Today, we're doing something that we've flirted with before, but I guess you could say that this time we're really doing it in earnest. We're doing a call-in show, which means if you are on Rumble, you can call in and talk to us by voice, and we can have a little back and forth. We'll get into the rules because there are going to be ground rules here. If you're on YouTube, you can't do it without coming over to Rumble. However, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, you can still ask questions or make comments the usual way. And producer Robby West there in the middle will put your comment, question, insult, compliment, whatever it is, up in the live chat, and we will answer it the usual way. And so you don't have to have your voice on the air. Okay, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, but it's not coming out that way. My mom used to always say, like, any asshole could make something simple complicated. So I'm any asshole. All right. So basically, Robby, please explain. We're going to have to explain as people join us because people are trickling into the show right now, even as we speak. But please explain exactly how this is going to work so we know.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's easy. So if you're on YouTube, come over to Rumble. If you're already here on Rumble, you're already where you need to be. There is a pinned link in the comment section. Click the link, and I will screen the call. And please have a pithy and short question or comment. And you can hang up. You can hang out for a follow-up question if you so desire. But that's pretty much it. No bloviating. You're not the host. You're not here to monopolize, and do not make a speech.
Yep. Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah. Jamarl, you used to take calls, right, on your old show?
Yeah, we used to take them all the time.
Yeah, that's how me and JT
I remember Manila and I got into a fight with a guy, and Manila kept calling the guy a pussy or something like that. And he kept going back and forth. And I remember when we got out the meeting, the boss was like, "Yeah, let's not try to do that. Let's not do that." Like, we were ragging on the guy. We used to take calls.
I called in a few times. That's how I met JT.
Yeah,
that's Robby from Montana. Really enough, because of Robby from Montana.
I wonder if that incident was why the boss never let me and Manila take calls.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I mean, her and I were going after the guy because the guy said something out the way, and Manila was like, "Oh, I know what it was. He made a comment." And we kept telling him to call in. And when he wouldn't call in, we kept calling him a punk. It was like, "Oh, he's a punk. He's a punk. You don't have the balls to call in." We were like ragging on him really hard on air. And that's what he was like, "Can we not do that? Can we not spend 15 minutes ragging on a guest?"
That's funny. Well, we promised we won't be that mean to you if you do call. All right. So again, if you're just joining us, no promises from JT. Just I promise.
It's on the comment.
Yeah, so I shouldn't be making promises on anyone else. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of like the U.S. promising Iran, "Don't worry, Israel won't attack your buddy in Lebanon." So, by the way, Alan Greenspan died, just an FYI.
Did he?
At the age of 100, leaving behind his bereft, age-inappropriate trophy wife, Andrea Mitchell, behind at the age of 79.
Only the rich die young.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Hungry to One is young when you got $1 billion, right? Like,
true.
It's like, I need a new body. I need money to spend this on. I need a new trophy wife in her 20s.
True. Although, God, nothing could stress me out more than a young trophy wife in her 20s. All right, so
does she know she's a trophy wife? Like, if she knows,
being a trophy wife is actually hard work, right? I was very good friends with a trophy wife, and she wasn't my trophy wife, but I came to really kind of, at first I had contempt for the whole sellout thing. Like, you're basically a prostitute, but then my mom used to say that all wives were prostitutes. But I mean, then I
I
got
love your mom, by the way. I love your mom. I love you, friend.
she was great. I miss her terribly every day. There was a lot of work involved. She had to make sure she had to keep up a perfect home. She had to entertain. She had to make sure she was always coiffed. She had to always, be the home decorator, coordinate with like running a house as a full-time job, making
Yes.
sure things were just so. It's like it's like it wasn't like she had the kind of husband who would be like, oh, we can just order in pizza. We'll just watch HBO tonight. It'll be fine. She
Kelsey
wasn't like,
Grammer and Camille. Camille was the perfect trophy wife. Perfect trophy wife. He got rid of her eventually. If you watch The Housewives, the first season of Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kelsey Grammer is dumping his trophy wife. And there's this traumatic, you could see the trauma in her, but you can also see what it means to be a wife for somebody like Kelsey Grammer. You have to keep up appearances, the way you look, the way you move, the elegance, all of that stuff. Like that, it's expected.
it's a job, and it's not an easy job, and it's not a job everyone can do.
I have a question. I have a question for you, JT.
Go for it.
And so, one of the things that we've gone through, and by we I mean me and Kizzy, is that we're coming up on our 20th wedding anniversary, which is insane.
Really?
My crazy stuff for 20 years. Yeah, it's insane. She's had Black people basically call her a trophy wife, say that you're a sellout, that you're a traitor, that you're bleached, just all this other stuff. And you're there in Richmond. And so and that's one of the reasons, honestly, why we moved here to Montana. Because believe it or not, as crazy and as white as Montana is, we've never caught that kind of crap. And we caught so much, especially in New Orleans, just crap for a Black woman being with a white guy. Is it still that way, there in your neck of the woods?
So it's complicated. I mean, usually in Richmond, I don't think anybody cares, if I'm being bluntly honest with you. There is, okay, so obviously my ex-girlfriend was Austrian, obviously white. The woman before that was Black. The woman before that was Black. She was the first white woman I ever dated. We didn't have any, I think for her, it was more of a curiosity herself. Like, it's because I didn't really like to talk about stuff like that because I didn't think it mattered to me.
Sure.
Black
That's
women
because you're normal.
Well, but Black women do care about, some Black women care about a Black man dating a white woman. Some do. And the woman I went on a date with before, when I was talking about it, she was like, well, that was your problem. You was dating a white woman. It's like, dude, I think you're a lunatic. I think you're a psycho. She was an ex-girlfriend while she had her issues. It wasn't related to race, and it wasn't related to her being a psycho in the way that you are. Now, some Black women have feelings about it, and I would bet, I don't know, but see, that's the rub. I don't know Black men who care.
Well, we did, because the only time I've ever had to pull a gun in anger, me and Kizzy were going to the movies, and a bunch of these Black guys came up, and they're like, what you doing here with this honky? What you doing here with this cracker?
Really?
And so I have a Jericho 941 double stack. So I drew that gun. As if I don't back off, I'd be planting more in cotton tomorrow.
I get the sense those are, for lack of a better term, hood rats.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't get the sense.
I mean,
I don't know any Black man that would give a shit about you dating a Black woman.
In Pensacola, it was an issue, and I damn near came to blows with Kizzy's brother on Christmas because she breastfed, our kids. I guess a lot of Black women don't, and so like our daughter was hungry, and it's just like, so she's crying. I guess it's time for Kizzy. You have to go feed the baby, and he just lost his mind. Like, what the fuck is this white boy? And I took him out to the front yard. This on Christmas Eve night. I said, I'm about to beat your Black ass if you don't get out of my house like right now. I mean, he just lost it. And so what my question is I'm going to beat your Black ass on Christmas Eve. And it's just, to me, it's weird because we always hear about racial tension from the other way. But
I've never experienced that. I've seen it with Black women having feelings about it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that.
My sister-in-law.
And Asian guys don't like it when Asian girls date white guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably because it's a trope.
Yeah.
It's like the lusting after Asian.
I had Black girlfriends, and I never had that never came up.
Yeah, I've never had that issue.
Mhm.
I mean, even with Elizabeth, I've never had that issue. In
Well,
Austria, and they consider Austria to be more racist than that.
well, that's
I've never
because
seen.
you're a black dude. I mean, so it was just weird. I mean, it was just people were just mad as hell about the idea of a sister, being with a white guy, and
And
it was
maybe
just
because it
like
was in the
wow.
South also. I mean, keep in mind, in the South, when they asked, should there be interracial relationships, like half of the population said no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
it's
like, it could be where you were also.
weird there, right? Like when I was single and using online dating, and it was like, I would, like when I traveled to the South and then you'd look at listings and it'd be like, oh, race not an issue for me. And I'm like, you wouldn't even see listings like that in the New York area,
Right.
It's just like you don't have to.
Well, New York has got so many different people already. It's just all mixed up. It's not homogeneous. And it's
Yes.
just like I guess
There are people who have their their preferences or their biases. Personally, I think you're racist if you won't like date someone from any race. But like the point is, like
that's dumb. That's a
Preference.
preference. That's a
That's
preference.
just
It's not racism.
it's a racist preference.
Just like me saying I like long hair. I don't like women with short hair.
No,
It's
it's
not
like,
me being racist against short-haired women.
come on, would you never date a girl with short hair?
Probably no.
Never, really, never,
Really?
under any circumstance. Like she's your soulmate. She's perfect in every way. She's
You
hot
wouldn't
as shit. She wakes up for you. Wake up in the morning. What's going on? I'm getting a blowjob again because it's morning. Really, short hair is the deal breaker. Really, I don't believe you. I don't think that's true.
I'm being serious with you. Look, if I'm dating a woman and she has
For
cancer,
longer hair. I'm
then
just
obviously-
saying I don't believe you. I mean, I'm
If
with
I'm
you.
dating a
I think
woman
women
with
should have
cancer,
short hair, but really,
I'm staying with her, but she wouldn't be my soulmate if she had short hair. This is no shade against women with short hair. I'm pretty sure there are very beautiful women out there, but this is
Yeah,
kind of
well,
the point
yeah.
Robby is making. It's a preference.
Yeah, I mean that's just dumb.
What?
To say that if you don't date someone outside of your race, that means that you're
Oh,
a racist.
no,
That's
you're not
that's
willing
retarded.
to, not willing to. Like in other words, if you would just rule out someone because they're a certain race, that's like insane. That's
No,
racist.
it's a preference.
Definition of racism is to judge people on their appearance and their racial identity without getting to know them or giving them a chance. That's what racism is.
The definition of racism is believing that your race is superior to someone else through genetics. And that's not what that is. You're conflating two different things.
It's like racial superiority, which is not the same thing
I
as
get the feeling
racism.
that's preference. Like if I say I'm not a fan of Indian women, okay, but really being racist about Indian women. Now
Yes.
the rub is, if I find one
Indian
that I
women are
like,
great. You'd just be wrong too.
well, I'm not.
Well,
saying
why didn't
that-
you marry an Indian woman, Ted?
I almost did.
But you
There,
didn't.
but there are many attractive Indian women.
You would laugh because she lost her H-1B visa.
Good. She should have, but you could have went with her. You could went to India with her.
Fuck India. India sucks. I would hate to live there.
So then you're a racist.
No, I'm a nationalist. I like my. I like.
No, what you should have done is just married her and got her the marriage visa. But you didn't.
Yeah.
That's a whole fiasco. It takes years. It's a giant pain in the ass.
Just do it illegally.
No, look,
You know,
if
be a stickler for legality.
if I found a bald woman who I thought was attractive, obviously I wouldn't exclude her. But it's not my preference.
That's my point.
But I guess I'm saying under normal circumstances, they would be excluded short of some kind of
Yeah, maybe
anomaly.
when you're swiping left and right, you're like, oh, she's bald. Like, no thanks. But I mean, like that's not really the same thing. Yeah, that's a preference. But like,
Okay, how about homosexuality? If somebody said,
I wrestle with homosexuality all the time. I mean,
I know,
like,
but if they say if you don't fuck this guy in a gay porn, you're
you're homophobic.
homosexual. You're
Sign me up. Card carrying homophobe right here. I will never.
That's
No,
crossed- no, I mean,
absolutely
that's
not.
Really, seriously, that's really crossed my mind. Of course, sexual orientation by gender is very, very hardwired. I don't think being favoring girls with long hair over girls with short hair is quite the same level of psychological identification, sexual proclivity, right? I mean,
if you don't fuck this guy, you're obviously
by the
homosexual.
way, what about if you had like a hot, short-haired girl? Would you make her? If she wore a wig, would you be cool?
I don't like women augmenting their. I'm not a fan of cosmetic surgery.
Mm-hmm. Me neither.
I guess I put the wig in the same vein. I know it's
Again,
not real.
that would be a preference, but like, for example, I have dated girls who had breast enlargements, but it was not because it was despite the fact that they had a breast enlargement.
Was it? It was despite the fact they had breast enlargements.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a preference.
I don't know. I mean, to me, if you're not happy, if you're not happy with yourself in your own skin, you're never going to be happy with yourself at all. So I'd rather have someone that is comfortable with who they are and what they are, instead of just trying to like that Croatian chick we talked about on TMI.
Mm.
She had way too much work done, and that woman, I think that she honestly, I don't know her obviously, but I think she probably has a couple of screw looses. She's probably very insecure. She's trying to overcompensate by being a sex
What
kitten.
about Laura Loomer? She's totally normal, and she.
And by the way, no shade to women with short hair. People going to be sending me bad letters. Say, "Fuck you, man." I'm gonna hook up with you anyway. This is no shade. I guess my point is a preference.
Yeah, no, I mean, the question is, when does preference cross into racism? I mean, let me put it this way. For example, if you post on a dating profile, no person of XYZ race, you're racist because you're broadcasting it, right? You're literally, and you're willing to make people feel bad about themselves because of your quote unquote preference. So, I mean, can we agree on that? That's like racist.
No,
I
that's
mean, but
dumb.
why should I feel bad?
like
for
no
being
black
asshole?
If you post no black girls on your dating profile, or if you're Jamarl, no white girls.
Wait, if you're not attracted to them, who the hell cares? That's your choice. You're not saying that you're better than them.
Well,
You're just saying no, I don't want to measure your. I don't put my dipstick in your oil pan. I mean, that's all that is.
Offensive. It's like when women say, "Oh, no short guys." I'm like, "Fuck you." I'm 6'2.5", and I say "fuck you" to women who won't date short guys, especially since most of these girls are short themselves. They're
Yeah, solidarity with short men on this.
Always, yeah. I'm on
short. My short kings out there. Solidarity.
Like, oh, you're not dating me either. Like
solidarity.
I mean, in fairness, Kizzy has short hair. No, she doesn't wear weave. No, she's natural. Sometimes what she'll do
it
is
depends on what we mean by
straighten
short. Also, short is a gradient.
Right. Yeah. How short are we talking about? Right.
Well,
I'm not going into how short because
Ted, I mean, you've met Kizzy. I mean, she's a black woman. She doesn't have long hair, and I've told her a long time that you should just rock a fro. I mean,
I agree with
be
that.
you.
I used to like power.
It looks good. Natural always looks better. I feel that way about gray hair too. Like, no need to dye your hair. Like if you turn gray, like look at me, I'm fucking gray. I mean, I don't care. It's like you just get old. Your hair is going to turn gray. That's how it is. Hopefully, you live long enough to see that. I didn't think I would. All right. Well, actually, this is fucking fascinating. All right. Do we have any calls? Do we have anyone?
We do not. We've got a lot of chats and several donations, but no one wants to talk to us.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So just a reminder, if you do want to call us, like you don't have to. It's a free country. It's just like you don't have to date girls with short hair.
Or Indian girls, or Pakistani girls.
I feel bad. I got to admit, I feel bad about finding men unattractive. I always feel like if I were open-minded, I'd be sexually open to dudes, but I'm not. I'm hardwired straight. I know that comes as a surprise to a lot of people, but on that Kinsey scale, I'm on that all the way on that side. I have lots of gay friends. I can look at a guy and say, man, Ryan Gosling, he's a good looking dude, but I don't want to fuck him, And
Jason Momoa. It's Jason Momoa. To me, he's the sexiest man alive.
Oh yeah, he's a great looking guy. Yeah.
I can totally see why women, if I was married and she left me for him, I'd be like, fair game.
Yeah, that's like if Keanu Reeves steals my girlfriend. I'm like, all right, well,
it's like I get that. I get that, right?
Right.
It's like the cheat list. It's like, okay, who's on your cheat list? Like that you can credibly cheat with, and the person will say, okay, and it's like you get 3 names.
Yes, I've always had that. Winona Ryder and was always on my cheat list.
Really?
Yeah.
Winona Ryder. Interesting. That's the thief. That's the klepto.
That's right. Yeah. From she's the actor on Stranger Things. And
I remember her. She was attractive.
Yeah,
she was very attractive.
Oh, okay. So,
What is the woman in the jeans?
some breaking news. It looks like Rumble will actually allow people on YouTube to do the call in, but they have to download the Rumble Studio app. So I'm going to drop this link over there on the YouTube chat, so that way people want to do it that way they can.
So they don't have to necessarily create.
They don't have to come to Rumble, but they do have to install the Rumble app on their phone. That's for everybody.
Okay. But they don't have to log in.
Yeah, they don't have to log in. Let me see if they'll let me pin this.
All right, well that's huge. With apps, logging in is the worst fucking part. Like,
for sure.
It's like, well, now we have to verify your phone number. Oh, now we have to do a CAPTCHA. Oh, like, I know you identified all the bridges. Now identify all the bikes. Fuck you. It's like so annoying. Two-factor authentication. All right, we have lots of comments. So all right, let's do some of these.
WhatsApp is blocked in Russia.
Not surprised.
Yeah. I don't
either.
know why. There was a reason for that, though.
Yeah, Rumble's also blocked in Russia.
All right, let's get to it. All right, Alfie, thoughts on Keir Starmer's resignation as UK Prime Minister? We did a bit of that this morning, but it's New Labour. It's like what Jamarl, you said it right. I mean, I don't want you to say it again.
Tony Blair of the world. I mean, I guess. Look, I mean, if you are part of, let's say, the Labour that was backing Jeremy Corbyn, then Keir Starmer was already a no for you. Mm-hmm. And it's not like Keir Starmer changed anything over. Like, can you think of any radical shifts that took place in regards to employment, immigration, healthcare, for example? Like, all of these things were things that, for the most part, hasn't and doesn't change. The political system, the political economy just doesn't change. It seems like regardless of who they put in.
And they have the same problems we do: disparity of wealth, high cost of living.
And I would argue it's worse.
Immigration crisis.
I mean, mind you, they have healthcare, but even that is under pressure. Yeah. I guess my thing is, Keir Starmer fixed nothing, has no charisma at all. At least Boris Johnson has charisma.
He even promised to fix anything.
We have our first caller now.
Too. Okay, let's do it. All right. So here's the rules. Go ahead and put up the call.
We have a caller? Hot damn.
We do.
All right. So here's the rules. Please state your name and your question very quickly. We will then answer it. And if you want to, and then if you can stay on the line. If you have something else to say it quickly, and then we'll be on our way. All right. People are waiting. This is not just about any one call. Okay, let's go.
All right, cool. My name's Hector. What's up, guys? Big fan of the show. I just have a question for Ted. What makes you think that this isn't just like a false breakup? I've been seeing online people say that it's just all like a staged.
You're talking about Israel and the U.S.
and Donald Trump, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's my point of view. That's my frame. So, I mean, until put it this way, until we get to the point where Trump, because right now Donald Trump is still saying stuff like, "You need to call back your proxies in the region, or else I'm going to bomb you and attack you." Okay, who is he saying this for? I mean, if indeed the issue is, okay, well, there's really this huge disagreement between Trump and Netanyahu because Netanyahu is on a killing spree in Lebanon and he won't pull his forces out, then Trump is not putting that tweet out. Trump is putting out tweets yelling at Netanyahu. I don't see those tweets.
I think you're too literal. I think what's going on, JT, is that, first of all, that tweet is basically just Trump being Trump. Right, like basically, he's frustrated when he always yells at both sides when he's trying to get a deal together. It's kind of like how the buyer and the seller for the house. It's like the realtor tells the seller, "Your house is a piece of shit. You're lucky anyone wants to buy it." They tell the buyer, "Oh my God, this is the best house in the entire world. You're really lucky to get it at any price." And they're trying to like knock heads together to get them to a deal. Trump's a real estate guy. That's exactly what this is. He's like, he thought the Iranians were being like slow or reticent, and he's like just like whatever the fuck. He doesn't understand that like words can be really toxic and offensive and can fuck things up. So he just does that. That's his go-to place. To answer the question, the reason I think that this may not be a fake breakup is because from a motivation standpoint, it is to Donald Trump's advantage to end this war, keep the Strait of Hormuz, get it back open, normalize relations with Iran, and that means it requires him to end the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, which is Israel's fault, and so therefore he has to lean on Israel. If push comes to shove and the Israeli forces hand, can he cut them loose? The consequences for fucking over Iran and pissing them off again are bigger than the consequences for fucking over Netanyahu and cutting Israel loose. That's why I think
the consequences of starting the war were huge.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, even before you get to that point, and even if you're talking about like military analysts and everything else, it's not like, let's take something as simple as air defense missiles. And I guess the argument that I'm making here is rationality and good sense cannot be used as a justification or as an argument for modeling and making the model correct. Because the model that you're going by basically is Trump is better off taking this deal than not. And so he should be orienting himself into distancing himself from Israel versus okay, that could have been said for a decade. And that argument could have been made before this war even took place. And I even had military analysts on my show making the same argument. It is not in the U.S.'s interest to attack Israel, so I don't believe they're going to attack Israel. Oh my God, we attacked Israel. Good sense cannot be the rationale for setting up the model. You could be right, but I'm saying everything that we've seen up to this point has followed the exact same pattern. Oh, Trump is upset. Oh, Joe Biden is upset. And yet that was always fake. So, and again, the document, Which Path to Persia, points out, give Israel the blame, while we as the U.S. pretends as if we're somehow distinct and distant from Israel. Regardless of what I think about it, Ron in the document makes it very clear that they believe that these things are one-to-one. And if you don't get your dog in order, then it's not your dog going rogue. It's you not getting your dog in order. We will see when Trump actually has the lean.
We'll see. No, I mean, we will see. Hector,
I hope you're right. God, man, I hope I'm wrong.
Any follow-up before we let you go?
Just one more thing for Robby. I was just curious if you considered like doing shorts and stuff, like maybe uploading those on TikTok to get more clicks on the live stream. I know that's where I came from.
Yep, that's actually something that we are working on now. Well, we started just doing them originally just over on YouTube and Rumble. We will be branching over to TikTok as well. The problem is that TikTok, they will blow up a channel if they even smell what they consider anti-Zionist sentiment, and that's about 90% of what this show is. So we'll just see what happens. But the the answer is yes. And for the record, Jamarl, I am Team U on this. I do not see Trump ever be able to rein in his dog. It's not going to happen.
Same here.
We shall see.
Thank you, Robby.
Thanks, Hector. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Take care. Thanks. All right. More comments. We have a lot. Darkworks88. Do you guys believe in man-made climate change? What have you personally done to combat this change? How far would you be willing to go, or how far do you think the government should go to stop it? I always go first, so you guys, whatever.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I'm a massive believer. I think it's very simple science. I think there's no question that even though the Earth's climate can and does change naturally and always has, that the process is accelerating radically right now. We're seeing just some wild and crazy weather, global weirding. Even the ferocious winter we had last winter is a reflection of that. I think it's literally the most pressing, biggest, most important problem of our time. It's going to lead to the evacuation of major cities. It's going to cause famine and drought. It's going to cause wars. It is causing those things. I think it's a top priority. I think we should pull out all the stops. I think it should be something that we all as a world get together and fix. I don't think anything else matters as much. Nothing, because we could all die if we don't fix this.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the problem is more complicated than just climate change, though. I mean, there's also global dimming, ironically. Like, we've put so much shit up in the atmosphere that it dims the sunlight, which dims the amount of heat that's getting to the ground, which means that if you got rid of all of it, the climate would just jump by several degrees instantly. This has affected our food, which means the mineral nutrient density in food is less than it used to be let's say in the 60s or something like that. And I think it even goes into the shit that we put in our environment and how that stuff gets into our food and how it affects our biology. No, I agree with you. I think we have let's take the planet out of it. Let's just think about the human body, how sophisticated it is, and how one or two things being off can screw up the entire mechanism and workings of the entire system. And I suspect the planet is the same way. No, I agree with you, Ted. What would you give up to change it is the interesting question. And I've heard this question asked, and people basically are willing to give up nothing. I've heard like even people who believe it.
Almost anything. Like I love travel. If you told me we can no longer have aviation, I'd say okay.
You say okay. You give up aviation?
It's just save our lives. I mean, we're going to die. Our kids are going to die. I mean, human civilization is currently projected to collapse by the year 2050. That's tomorrow. That's next week. I mean, I could live to see that. I was born in 1963. I mean, that is soon. I mean, it may be too late to even reverse this process because there's so much energy already in the atmosphere that even if we abolished internal combustion tomorrow, it probably is too late. But
it's like 10 years before we see any changes.
It's a fucking emergency, though.
Yeah, it still goes up for another 10 years.
Yeah,
even if we stop now. Yeah, I don't know. If humanity deserves to live, then we will make changes to ensure that we live. I mean, I guess the question becomes, is this an issue of elites or if this is an issue of the population itself? Because it's not like the population doesn't know. The population just ultimately doesn't care because it has its own environment, like immediate concerns.
It's too gradual also for people to understand. They just don't. Yeah. They don't feel it in their gut. And also, I mean, also we even have like this weird psychology. It's a psychosis. Like, oh, it's a beautiful day, much warmer than usual. Yeah, it's February 17th, but it's going to be 80 degrees today. Hey, get your picnic blankets out. We're all going to die, you fucking idiot.
The problem is, and now listen, do I believe that climate change is real? Yeah, I do. The world works through cycles. We know that. Yeah. We know that the miniature ice age was a thing. We also know that the Vikings didn't have SUVs. So we have to kind of put this stuff into perspective. It is the epitome of human arrogance to think that we can control a system as complicated as a planet. We are not gods.
We're just fucking it up.
But the point is though is that we can influence it, but we can't change it. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. And if it
like geoengineering and shit like that.
And if it was that much of an issue, Ted, like the last debate that me and you had about climate change, then what you would have to do is that humanity would have to realize that there are some nations are more ordered than others. Like the United States is more ordered than, say, Bangladesh. Sure. Russia is more ordered than India.
Sure.
You yourself said that India is probably like the biggest shithole on the entire planet right now, which is probably true. I've never been there.
You said that, Ted?
I just said it's a big shithole.
Well,
it's certainly a huge shithole.
But the point I'm trying to make is, if that is the case, and if climate change is really a thing, if you have a nation and that nation is not able to get its house in order, then that nation does not have a right to exist or be independent. Then if you're to save the planet, it is an incumbent on the larger, more ordered nations to conquer those nations and bring order to them. And if they can't fix their house, you fix it for them. And by fixing the house for them,
do you mean
like you go in with an army and you take it over? Like say if India, if you cannot clean up your environment within 10 years, you lose the right of being a sovereign, independent state. Like,
I'm going to shock you.
We will take you.
I can get behind that if, like, let's say look, the big ordered nations like China and Russia are the major producers of greenhouse gases.
Yes.
Right?
That's what both sides rich.
So if we're working on us and then we're like, hey, we're all in it together, team Earth, and then we got like the Indians, let's say, being dicks, then yeah, I'm on your team. Like if it's like, oh, because of the Indians being cocks and we're all doing the right thing and they're not, yeah, we can conquer them.
So maybe instead of banning aviation, maybe if a country just is dragging the entire globe down, it doesn't have the right to be sovereign or independent.
If you case, yes.
So, and that's the question, right? Because then, how do you then, if that's going to be your touchstone, how can you then be anti-war?
Yeah, that's not my touchstone. I don't agree with you on that, Ted.
I'm not
I don't know, like that's
I'm
too
only
much of an easy
anti-war.
excuse for somebody
mean,
to be like, all right, it's time to fuck.
I'm
Take over.
anti-war for
it,
choice.
it is preserving the globe worth saying that my ethics, when it comes to
Saving the world
self-determination, have to end.
it's not a war of choice. If literally you know that humanity is going to fucking go down the drain unless you invade a country, then you have to invade that country.
Yeah. And just a reminder for the people who are just tuning in, calls are open. You click the links to install the Rumble app on your phone. You can call in and
We have
y'all can say whatever you want to say.
to him. I don't want to run out of time. Sam Paul Masano, loved the show. Y'all should do a gaming stream where y'all play Mecha Chameleon. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, so that Ted can show off his artistic skills. And thanks for the $10. I don't know
what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel a little bit less ignorant than usual. All right. Dark Works. Yeah, you get some nasty looks as a white guy when you take a black woman out, but it all depends on where you are, I think. Yeah, not in New York.
Yeah, it depends on where you are.
LWT Air. Love the show, guys. Question for Robby. Do you watch GunTube? And if so, who are your favorite content creators? Also, can't believe you carry an Israeli handgun. LOL. JK Jericho's are nice.
Oh, they're awesome. To answer your question, I don't watch any of the GunTube channels because it typically leads me to making very poor financial decisions. It's like I gotta have this.
More guns.
I gotta get myself a new bullpup. So yeah. I mean, I enjoy them. The problem is, some people have problems with porn or alcohol. I have problems with collecting things that explode. And so in order to make better financial decisions, I don't watch them. But yeah, the Jericho 941 is awesome. The one I have is a steel frame. I got chambered in 40. But because it's so heavy, it fires like a 9. Thing is smooth. Very much love it.
Jericho.
Jericho 941.
Corbin Dallas, thanks for the $5. What can Trump do to Israel to get them to listen to the U.S. with
nothing?
Israel First Congress?
Nothing. My ass.
Nothing.
Basically, cut them motherfuckers off.
That's what needs to happen.
You are not getting our political support. You're not getting our diplomatic support. Military. You're not getting our money. You're not getting squat from us. We're pulling out CENTCOM. We're, put screws to them.
I would pull back. I would recall my ambassador and sever diplomatic relations.
Yeah.
I'd close the U.S. embassy in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem.
If they want to fuck with us, let them do it.
I mean, the United States could rein them in. The problem is that we won't.
That's the issue, that we won't.
And the Iraqi, we all know Jamarl's type is callous.
She's not my type. I just like her. And you heard the other day, right, that she was like, Israel committed a genocide and they wanted to get rid of her. And I was like,
my phase, why is nobody talking about Kushner? What's he doing in the talks? Does he hold a government position? Yeah, it's funny about Jared Kushner, right? He comes and goes. So, I'm not involved in the administration at all. I'm out of here. Then Jared Kushner did me a favor, so I tend not to say anything mean about him because he came through for me at a time when I really needed it.
Who did? Jared Kushner?
Jared Kushner. Oh, I can explain.
Seriously.
All right, so when I sued the LA Times, the whole case revolved around this audio tape that the LAPD had made of arresting me years and years before. And anyway, so the tape was terrible quality. And what it required was audio enhancement, which basically means you'd have a professional company go in and they clean up and they take away the static and they try to find out if they can hear what's underneath. This is used, by the way, in law enforcement all the time. For example, you can strip away highway sound and maybe hear the sound of a gunshot, for example. Right. And this is admissible in court. There's audio enhancement, which is what I just talked about, which is cleaning things up. And then there's audio authentication, which is using audio digital technology to prove that it's that this audio is what it purports to be. Right. So those two things are basically the FBI has protocols for how to do it. Anyway, it's expensive. I tried to get on the media, Brooke Gladstone, to look at my case. She said that they didn't have the budget for it. It was going to cost like $10,000. The Guardian did their own version. Greg Palast did their own version, and they verified my version of events, not the LAPD's. But this was still like kind of not really enough. And the New York Observer, which at the time was owned by Jared Kushner, was considering was covering my case. And Jared Kushner happened to be sitting in on the editorial meeting. The topic came up, and he's like, "Oh, this is fucking fascinating. I'll personally pay for the enhancement." And
What?
and because the New York Observer was not a left-wing paper and it was owned by Jared Kushner, it wasn't the Guardian, right? So it gave me this credibility. And then after that, even Rush Limbaugh like editorialized that, like, you know, he hated me, that I was a communist and a traitor to America, but that the LA Times had fucked me over. And so like it helped change the narrative away from the LA Times to me. And I started winning the opinion battle because of that. So I was always very appreciative because I didn't have, you know, an extra 10 grand lying around to pay for this enhancement. So,
I mean, let's be clear though. Kushner is Trump's bag man. He's
Right.
the one who goes and you make deals with me, not my father.
Correct.
Right? Like when the Indonesian president was like, "Hey, I need to meet Kushner. Or I need to meet your son," or something like that. He knows what's going on. It's like,
Yeah. No, that's true. He's such an odd man. So all right, well, we have that. Okay, so Auntie Anne, thanks for the $5. Sorry I'm late to the Q&A. We need to understand that interpersonal relationships are irrelevant if the 2027 NDAA Section 224, aka 219, passes.
yes,
Agreed.
Yeah, it's not about the interpersonal relationships. I mean, it's about the congressional relationships, the relationships of Israeli minders on the political leaders. The difference is there is a difference, though, between the presidency and these other people. The president is stuck holding the bag for anything that happens. These other people, like Miss Lindsay, can bitch all he wants.
Mhm.
Right? He can say whatever he wants. He is not the one making the decisions and is not the one stuck with the consequences of those decisions in the way that the presidency is. So there's a difference. Hence-
Like, have you seen all the senators that are over on the XJT just saying that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization and we must support our only democratic ally in the Middle East? That's the tell.
By the way,
Trump can do whatever he wants, but he can't do it. Not without the Senate.
Back against that democracy thing, right? So here's my brief against Israel being a democracy. Everyone else focuses on the Israeli Arabs who have like a limited right to vote.
They have no power.
But never mind that. It's like Israel has effectively occupied Gaza and the West Bank and the Golan Heights for decades. Okay, those are in Israel. Unless Israel's planning to give them back and announces that they're giving them back like next week, they're in Israel. You control those people, and you have determined that they're not allowed to vote. By definition, you are an apartheid state, and you are, and it's not a democracy because not all adults can vote. It's like if you want to be a democracy, you have to either cut loose all the occupied territories and let them do their thing, or you have to let them vote in Israel. Otherwise, you can't say you're a democracy.
Yeah.
And I can't believe people don't clarify it that way.
Then they call themselves a Jewish state, and you have all these other people who aren't Jews. Okay, so what does it mean for the people who aren't Jews?
Right.
No, I agree.
Well, it's like here when you hear, "Oh, this is a Christian country," which of course legally it's not, but like that is a big fuck you to everyone who's not Christian.
Culturally, it's not. I mean, it hasn't been for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who would say that the United States is a Christian country nowadays is talking out of your butt. You're not paying attention. If this was a Christian country,
was slavery Christian, Robby? I would say no.
Well, slavery. So let me just make my point, and then I'll answer your question. So if this is if the United States was a Christian country, you wouldn't have same-sex marriage. Homosexuality would still be outlawed. George Washington hung men, soldiers in the Continental Army for committing the crime of buggery, which is butt sex.
What'd you say? Buggery?
Buggery.
That's buggery.
Yeah, buggery is another word for sodomite. So,
buggery.
I mean, that's so. You wouldn't. Adultery would be punishable by death. That's biblical law. we are not a Christian country. I mean, we have half naked men, women all over the place, half naked men all over the place. Have gay pride parades.
We have a
This
lot
is
of
not
butler.
yeah. I mean, this is not a Christian country, and to say that it is insulting to Christian countries all over the planet.
Robby, there's a question for you from Che Mao Lenin Marx. Thanks for the $1. Robby, if the Confederates had won, how long would slavery have lasted? And what would life be for Black people now, I guess, in the Confederacy?
If I had to hazard a guess, I would say maybe another 5 years, 10 max, because at that point, industrialization was on its way. Machines can do things that people can't. I think that the bigger problem would have been is that for the Confederacy to have won, it would have required the Confederacy to be allied with Britain and France. Then that would have forced the United States to become an ally of Germany. And then, you would have generational wars, just like what you had in Europe.
With Britain, wasn't it?
Hmm?
Didn't they get aid from Britain, the Confederacy?
Yeah, as a non-combatant status. And so that's what I'm saying, is that if the Confederacy would have won, because the German Empire at that point was the natural opponent of Britain and France, then the United States would have allied with Germany. World War I would have been
ways that the Confederacy could have won. I think we need to tease them out. One would have been they survive as an independent state. The other one is they conquer the Union.
There's no way they could conquer the Union. They didn't have the manpower. The closest thing, honestly, for the Confederacy to have won. And Lee made this point. He said, if we try to fight a war of attrition, we're going to lose. We have to win this thing in the first year. Basically, it's like what Yamamoto said to
Hitler
Japan.
on the Eastern Front.
Yeah. So after the first Battle of Manassas, my great grandfather, they chased the Yankees. They were on the outskirts of Washington D.C. They could see the churches. They could hear the bells ringing.
That's crazy.
Jefferson Davis ordered them not to continue because it would have been a humiliation for the United States. They could have captured the entire government at that point if they'd been allowed to have continued.
By the way, why when there are commanding officers and presidents who make that determination, like Hitler on the Eastern Front, and he knew they had to get to Moscow by the first before winter broke. There was no. But then when it doesn't happen, why don't they just throw in the towel at that point instead of keeping going?
In terms of the of what was going on in the United States between the Confederacy and the Union, I don't think either side really understood what it was going to look like. Both sides thought it'd just be one fight. Whoever won it would run the entire thing. There was a U.S. senator, I can't remember what his name was. He said you could clean up all of the blood that would be spilled in this war with a handkerchief. If you could figure out how many handkerchiefs would be required to clean up all the blood spilled in that war, you should get a PhD in whatever math field is that you want.
That's our bloodiest war by far, right?
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's what it was, is because Jefferson, I think that he felt in his heart of hearts that the Union would let the Confederacy go because you didn't want to be a part of it. But the Union, though, was willing to go to extreme ends to make sure that the Union was not dissolved. And I think that's really what the breakdown was. In terms of slavery, though, to answer the question, 5 to 10 years. But I think that it would have been a disaster for people on both sides, because I think that you'd make the case, just like happened in Europe, is that you'd have a generational war every single year because you'd have two great powers sharing one continent with real hostility towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the problem, not slavery. It would be the non-ending wars.
All right, next one. Kemet, thanks for the $5. It seems like the Palestinians are forgotten, the number one people who are suffering from Israeli hands. I mean, that's partly the success of Israeli military censorship and preventing foreign journalists like me who would want to go to Gaza from getting in. I mean, if I want to get into Gaza, I'd have to go the way I went in last time, through the tunnels from Egypt, and the Egyptians aren't into it right now. It's they just basically, I mean, it's hard for something to be a story when, first of all, I mean, the other thing is news is about novelty, right? Nothing new is happening in Gaza. It's just
Right.
an ongoing roiling genocide, and the Israelis are consolidating their gains. And the bodies are just rotting, and that's it. Iran's the big story because it's a game changer, and things are in motion. And it's also like you're not just killing civilians who can't fucking fight back. You're going after someone who's got
Who
able
can?
to hurt on you, right?
Yeah.
So
And it's the power in the region now, which is the story. No, I agree with you. I don't think they're forgotten. Part of Iran's argument is that all wars stop, which means Gaza is included in that. But they
voters
can't.
under 40 remember them because and even inside the Republican Party, it's not going to be okay to be on Team Zio in the 2028 election. You're any major party nominee who's a militant Zionist is not going to be viable.
And by the way, look at J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is running against the Jews or the Zionists, if you want to call it that. You can't kill your way to a military or to a solution. We're the only ones that likes you. Everybody around the world hates you. Like it's it gets running again.
He's only 5 months late saying that.
We'll see.
I mean,
that's
all.
This
That's all.
system, Robby. That's as good as it gets. There's nothing. It doesn't get better. It just doesn't. All right. Dr. MK Ultra, thanks for the $2. Can we talk about Starmer's 3 Ukrainian boys? I know.
Yes. So you know what she's talking about, right? The ones that just got arrested who apparently set fire to Keir Starmer's house. And it's the belief that, what do you call it, Robert? Buggery?
Buggery, yeah.
The buggery.
That's an old word.
Yeah, they think it's like he's hiding a pool boy or something like that. That something has been, unseemly happening between Starmer and these guys, and that they basically try to burn his house down in response.
Gotcha. Well, there's all sorts of crazy stories like that. Do you remember? God, who was that Republican who was the governor of Texas who ran for president? God, what was his name?
Not Jeb Bush.
No. Was it Rick something or?
Oh, Rick Scott.
Rick Scott.
That was Florida, though.
No, that's not Rick Scott. Come on. Texas governor ran president, and then he was in the cabinet. This will come up. Oh yeah, that's it. Rick Perry. It was a Rick.
Oh, Rick Perry. I remember Perry. Okay.
Rick Perry. So, a very prominent Austinian, if that's a word, told me that the rumor in Austin was that Rick Perry was as gay as the day is long, and that every now and then he would have some rent boy screaming outside the presidential mansion, basically Rick, I love you, come out, don't leave me.
Are you serious? It's like he's holding the radio up and just standing outside your window with my radio.
Wait, in the role of gay John Cusack.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That might be too old for some people in the audience to
totally. But yes, the movie's called Say Anything, real period piece. Okay, so Sam Palmasano, thanks for the $10. Robby, have you not seen Mecha Chameleon yet? Just kidding. Love you, Robby. The game is hide and seek on steroids. You hide as a little gingerbread-sized man and can paint yourself to blend into surroundings. It sounds like something like a game my son would like.
That's funny. Okay, that's the game.
All right. Che Mao Lenin Marx, would the U.S. maintain relations with Israel if Ben Gvir were prime minister? And thanks for the $1.
Yes.
Ben Gvir is prime minister.
Yeah.
I don't think that would by itself change things. What's changing things is other things.
No, I agree with you. The lying to Trump. Or not lying. Trump being dumb enough to accept what the Israelis were saying, considering the Israelis said the same thing to pretty much every other president. There's that. The oil thing is a big deal. The reality of it is the tank was going to go empty by August, September. So it's not like Trump had maneuvering room. But
Exactly.
that's one reason for you not to have a war in the first place.
Every morning Donald Trump wakes up and hears that there's a possibility of settling this war with Iran. He's a happy man.
Yeah.
This is good for him.
Oh, I do think it's good for him to get out of it. The issue for the presidents are always, how do you get out of it without looking like you fail? And that's a whole different conversation. Right?
He did fail, but on every measure he failed.
Question for you,
agreed.
from Mark. You ever read Harry Turtledove?
Why is the name familiar?
He does a lot of alternate history stuff, like what would happen if Germany and Japan had won World War II, that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Is this Fitzpatrick's War or something? Or what is the name of it? There's a book that's an alternative history of what happens after the Second War. I mean, after the Civil War, if the Confederates won. I don't know. The name is familiar, but I don't know the book.
Yeah, the only one of his books that I ever read was called Guns of the South. As alternate history, but it was sci-fi. So basically, it was a bunch of these South Africans, and they stole a time machine that let them go back in time 150 years. So went back to 1864, and equipped the Confederacy with AK-47s with predictable results. Like they ended up winning the war that way. But that's not one of his books ever won. But it was too sci-fi. I mean, there's no way that the Confederacy could have ever won a military victory. It would have to have been a political one. And Lee was right. It's like we have a year to do that. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Schizo wants to ask, couldn't make it work, but wanted to ask when we'll get the flood debate.
It's up to Ted. He keeps ducking me. Yeah, about the biblical flood, Noah's flood.
Oh, what about it?
Ted keeps on he keeps challenging me to the debates. It's like, all right, bring it. And he just keeps ducking me.
What's the debate? Whether it existed or not?
Yeah, like was it a global flood, that kind of thing.
It was a global flood.
Of course it was. It was real.
Every culture talks about it.
Yeah, but Robby says it was a few thousand years ago.
Oh,
because it was.
I don't know how long ago it was, but it definitely was a global flood. I mean, meaning if you're looking at Sumerian tablets, if you're looking at cultures and they're talking about it, all around the world talk about the flood myth or the flood.
We also know that
Younger Dryas, is that what it's called? Younger Dryas or something to that effect.
We know that we know that most of the world was underwater, but that was billions of years ago, Robby.
No, was it?
I don't know about billions. Otherwise, people wouldn't be able to know that.
Well, hundreds of millions. Let's put it.
Then how would people know about it then?
How do people know about it then?
Geology.
No. I'm talking about how do cultures know about it?
Yeah. Samaritans didn't have a globe. They didn't have carbon dating.
That's just
the guy who's sitting there with a spear and he's carving this into a tablet. How does he know that there was a flood a billion years ago? He's not doing geological surveys.
No.
All right, let's have that debate. We could do that.
What kind of debate? I'm asking a question. It's just a question. It's just a question.
What?
Well, what is it?
I'm not religious, so I'm not asking from a religious.
Well,
state.
Ted. Well, what is that? Ted keeps trying to peg this into a religious debate, which I'm more than happy to do as a fundamentalist Christian. Because
I'm making a scientific debate. There is no look. The Earth is not 6 or 7 or 8 or 9,000 years old.
Obviously, I don't think it's 6,000 years old. What I'm asking is very basic.
But I do.
That's the crux of this debate.
Yeah. So what? Right. So basically, what it is that Ted's trying to challenge my belief in a young Earth. So I believe that God created the Earth at what creationists like to call apparent age. So when the world was created, He created it in a mature way. Like all the systems were there.
Oh, come on,
no, like for example, when God created Adam, he wasn't created as a baby. He was a fully grown man. I don't know if he had a belly button or not.
Robby.
But
but under that logic, then nothing that we evaluate can be taken with any kind of meaning. If that's true, then you could say, well, God also created so and so, and He did it in order to trick people who are investigating it later on. I mean, everything is in question if that's true.
Well, He wasn't trying to trick anything. It's just He created. For example, no one ever created. When the Garden of Eden was created, we know that the animals were full grown. We know that the trees are bearing fruit because He created them in a grown, mature state. Like the trees didn't start off as seedlings. He created everything in a mature way.
We know this.
Very quick, because Earth is a better thing for me. if it's 6,000 years old, that would mean by definition God created it in a way to make it seem as if it was billions of years old.
Yeah, as a mature system.
Okay. I guess
Well,
I'm
no,
saying
I mean, Robby, let's just not even go back that far, right? Like, for
Okay.
example, we know that house cats, we currently believe first were domesticated about 20,000 years ago. Okay. That predates the biblical New Earth theory, right? So it means that, like, so what did people get wrong then when they analyzed that, right? Carbon dating of cat skeletons, the DNA analysis of where domesticated house cats come from. They would have, a lot of things would have to be wrong in order to come up with a number that's so radically earlier than the creation date of the universe.
Yeah. So what's your question?
So my question, how do you explain that, right? You don't even
I
have
just did.
to dinosaurs. You can just be like, we know that, like, there are buildings in ancient Egypt and in Cambodia that are older than 6,000 years old.
Our timelines are off. That's what it is.
Why?
Well, but that would mean that God made the pyramids also.
No. How'd you figure that out?
Well, if the pyramids are older,
Well, first of all, I mean, did the Egyptians even build the pyramids? I don't think they did.
okay, whoever built the pyramids,
They're
there's
so
some
old,
people think they were built before the Egyptians even got there. But either way, we're talking about something that's thousands of years older than what God made. Meaning, God would have also have made that in the system itself, unless you're saying that the pyramids.
God would have had to fuck with our ability to test or make us stupid or something.
Yeah, something has to be off in our.
It has to make us and we'd have to be stupid in a consistent way. Like, Russian scientists would have to be stupid in the same way as French scientists.
Humans are astonishingly stupid when it comes to very complex things. I mean, that's just a statement of fact.
Yeah, but carbon dating is pretty clear.
It's pretty simple.
Well, now here's the thing about carbon dating is what it is to break down of carbon in organic material, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as I know, you can't carbon date a stone because there's no living material in it.
Yeah, no, but skeletons.
Yes, fossilized remains.
Yeah,
have residue.
But one of the things that we do know, and I think that this kind of goes back to about the flood, if you have all that pressure that's just pressing down on all the organic material, plants, animals, everything else, people, how would that impact the carbon? Significantly.
But it's not going to change the decay.
Yeah, by thousands and thousands of years. I mean, even if you say
we don't know.
These things are 1,000 years off, you're still talking about hundreds of thousands of years of human beings being on Earth. I guess we've been on Earth for millions of years. With some device or some type of us. I mean, like, even if it's not necessarily human beings.
There's no pressure. There's no pressure. It's not like the pyramids were buried thousands of miles beneath the Earth's crust. They never were.
Well, they're built after the flood. It's just like the Tower of Babel was built after the flood. But we don't know that.
Well, the flood part is the interesting part to me, because I think this is where I think we might all disagree, or maybe. My thing to Ted is, how would people know that the flood existed if it was billions of years ago? Well, and again, all cultures around the globe.
Like dragons, all cultures around the world refer to dragons, right?
Well, so the Bible talks about dragons.
Is that a memory of some kind of communal memory of dinosaurs? I mean, that can't be, because humans never lived at the same time. But
Job lived at the time of the dinosaurs. The Bible talks about them. It doesn't call it Tyrannosaurus Rex. It calls them the Behemoth and Leviathan. It talks about these massive animals that were there. The book of Job is the oldest book in the Bible.
Of course, giant animals doesn't necessarily mean dinosaurs, right? I mean, there's giant sloths,
elephants,
woolly mammoths,
the tigers and the dire wolves, and who knows? But the point that I'm trying to make is that the person, I believe in the young Earth, Ted doesn't, and so that's why he's been trying to duck this debate with me.
Wednesday, it's on. We'll all three do it. We'll do it here as part of the Q&A.
You're scared.
It feels like a flat Earth argument to me, to be honest, about the young Earth thing. I mean, like, there's
the Earth is round, obviously,
for the fact that the Earth is older. I suppose. Okay. I mean, this seems to be pretty straightforward. The flood thing is a part to me that's more interesting to me, just because the thing will be, how does cultures know? And how do all of these cultures around the globe know if indeed this took place before those cultures
I have a
ever
theory.
existed?
You want to know my answer to that?
Yeah.
My answer to that is because of fossil remains of fish that people have found all over the world. They found
Yeah, but
fossils.
these are people in caves. We're talking about like,
They weren't stupid. They just lived in caves.
yeah, but they weren't biologists. They weren't paleontologists.
They found like fossilized fish, and they're like, fish were here.
Yeah, and
I don't think they were. Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so. And every culture around the world is like, fish were here.
Yeah,
Every culture.
that's it. That's exactly it. Snails.
But they're talking about it from the
scallops.
perspective of like knowledge of this event, not just, hey, we saw fish, so we think that was a flood.
That's what I think.
They
Yeah.
put that in the records. Like when somebody's carving in stone.
This must have been the bottom of the sea at some point. And that's true. It was.
Ted, I appreciate you.
Sure, buddy.
I don't think these people were biologists in that way.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. And horses are people. He wanted to know when the debate with the crazy Zionists is going to happen. I don't know, because he's ducking me. Like I've sent like 3 other messages. Yeah, because he wanted
Howard to come on the show.
Well, he wanted.
Zionists are watching. Come on.
Yeah, so I mean, he wanted to come on and he wanted to debate us about Israel, and specifically me. Whenever I said that the church is Israel, not the construct that we have now, and he just now he's Dutchman.
Also has a question for us before we go, and
Sure.
Thanks for the £2.49. What are your thoughts on the future of Africa? It's a big question.
I think Africa is going to become a player on the global level in the future.
Totally.
I mean, the reality of it is, people would disagree with me on this.
Too big to fail.
But the juntas are actually the positive elements of it in the Sahel states. And you would hope that Africa goes the way of those juntas. Because whatever people think of it, they are, A, they have public support, and B, they're functioning within the context of what is in the best interest of those countries. And the fact of the matter is, democracy in Africa is being used as a, I don't know, it subverts the actual will of the public just because it's still based on these kind of colonial principles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're going to change. I think they have to change.
Yeah.
So,
Can the Africans get their houses in order, though? That's the bigger question.
It's that part. Yeah, it's that part. They have to get their house in order. And part of that is kicking out all of these colonialist things that suck away, let's say, resources. Not to mention the terrorists that are used by the West to attack them. Yeah, there's a few things. But yeah, they have to get their house in order. Agreed.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. We're a few minutes over, but we always appreciate you. Next Q&A show, Wednesday, we'll get into the Great Flood and the Young Earth and your questions and comments. And I guess we could do calls again.
Yeah, I'll just leave it on.
No reason why not. All right, so we'll try that again. That'll be Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. Thanks for joining us. God, my nose is itching me something fierce. Can't wait to get off the air and find out what the fuck is going on. And at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will be back Tuesday, June 23rd for regular DeProgram. Thanks, everyone, and see you later. And bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Okay, have a good one, guys.